Welcome to another episode of Progress, Potential, and Possibilities, discussions with fascinating people designing a better tomorrow for all of us. I'm your host, Ira Pastor.
Welcome, everybody, again to another episode of our show, bringing you not one, but two wonderful guests today involved in creating a better tomorrow on some really interesting fronts. Today, we are headed on our virtual road trip, as we like to say here, over to China. And we are meeting first with Dr. Mang Shi, who is a professor at Sun Yat-sen University in Guangzhou, China, where his research is focused on the genomics of RNA viruses, and his work uses metagenomics, metatranscriptomics, and other tools for virus discovery and characterization, and his work has helped sort of redefine the diversity and evolutionary history of what this referred to as the RNA virosphere. Currently, his research is very interested and focused in using these same approaches ultimately to reveal the interesting interactions that occur in the virome within hosts that are infected. Prior to joining Sun Yat-sen University, Dr. Shi was a senior research associate at the University of Sydney. He also served previously as an adjunct faculty in Shanghai Public Health Clinical Center. Before that, he was an Oak Ridge Institute for Science and Education fellow and guest researcher here at USCDC. He received his undergraduate degree in microbiology, his master's degree in viral evolution from University of Hong Kong, his Ph.D. in viral evolution from University of Sydney, and he also did work locally down the road here at Penn State. We also have the honor today of being joined by Mr. Keegan Lee from the Alibaba Group, where he currently serves as director for Alibaba Cloud Digital Medical Product and Solutions team, as well as for their Health Information Technology Group. And prior to Alibaba, he spent a lot of time in a range of research and business development roles at various health tech organizations, including Philips, Sinovate, the PSL Group. He studied biology for his undergraduate degree at University of Hong Kong and Zhejiang University, did his master's work in economics and finance from the London School of Economics and Political Science and University of Navarra. And for those that may not know, Alibaba is a Chinese multinational company specialized in all forms of e-commerce and retail internet. I think recently it's somewhere on the Forbes list of one of the most valuable companies in the world. A lot of interesting topics to get into today at the intersection of information technology and biotechnology. Dr. Mang Shi, Keegan Lee, thank you so much for taking the time to both come on the show.
Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's great having both of you. This is a really sort of exciting and convergent topic. I guess I'd like to start out with Dr. Shi first. I'd love to give you the floor for a little bit, just to talk a little bit about yourself, a little bit of sort of the early days, sort of where you grew up, the development of some of your intellectual interest in microbiology and virus evolution. And if you could talk sort of maybe up to your PhD in 2015, pathogen discovery and new perspectives on virus evolution, because you really do some fascinating work there on the arthropod species and viruses found in rather ancient set of viruses there. Take us through a little of that early story and what got you interested in this space.
Okay, thank you. I'm coming from the background of biology. Like my undergraduate degree is biology from University of Hong Kong, and I just did a little bit of the disease related stuff. So I went to USCDC, and there I was first in contact with the pathogen genomics, which is like a next generation sequencing, which is pretty new thing at that time. And I found it fascinating, like to just a sequence and just to get information and just to find pathogens within that information. I found it's like a more advanced tool than just to isolating and or like try to do traditional virological studies. So at that time, I was like very interested in the next generation sequencing. And then I joined the group of Edward Holmes at Penn State at that time, and he was like really into the pathogen genomics, and he was doing a lot of virus evolutionary stuff, virus genomic stuff. So at that time, he gave me this opportunity actually to come back to China. So basically, I was a PhD student, first at Penn State, then at University. Eddie kind of moved from the Penn State to University as well. So at that time, he was like, I have this opportunity to you that I have a collaborator in China, which would have like lots of samples in China, and he's from China CDC, and he is actually a professor or Professor Zhang Yongzhen, based at China CDC. So like when I flew back to China, and I was like I was really interested in explore the Virosphere, and that'll be very great opportunity to look at all the species, but it is China CDC, so like you have to be disease focused. I was like, where I can sequence a few odd organisms like spiders, like scorpions and such things like that. And it was very supportive. And this is actually a very good start, because when you look at human only, then you like have a very limited scope of the virus discovery or like pathogen discovery. But if you look at broader organisms, then your like the Virosphere would be greatly expanded. So I had this book, like it's basically a zoology book as my menu. It's basically a menu. I just open the book and order my courses. I want this and this and this representative species from different phyla or different genus or different the taxonomy in the zoological world. And he was like, okay, I will arrange that. I will sample that. I will sample all the fish, the arthropod, the invertebrates, and even the earthworms. So basically, we sequence earthworm from our like a campus. So this is a very good time, and we actually sequenced them. We used the RNA sequencing, and we found lots and lots of interesting viruses that kind of like filling the diversity of the Virosphere. So this is the start of our journey to explore the Virosphere from a broader biosphere. And after after that, I kind of like finished my degree and joined Sun Yat-sen University. And I kind of continue do this stuff, but the previous the way of probing the virus is kind of saturated, because a lot of good work has been published, not only in animals but also in the environments. Like they've explored the sea, like a Tara project. They've also looked at the soil, look at and all those kind of environmental metatranscriptomic sequences. Basically, is RNA sequencing of metagenomic data like existing in the database to look for RNA viruses. So I kind of like okay, so this Virosphere has been explored a lot, but I found Keegan, and he was like, have you tried using the AI approach to look at all those the new viruses? So I was skeptical at first. I'm thinking that AI is probably not a very effective tool. It had a lot of errors, but when I tried it, it is so amazing. I will leave that topic to later, but first a little bit of introduction of myself. This is my experience with virus discovery and virology. So yeah, I'll stop here.
Excellent. Thanks. No, that was a great intro, and yeah, a lot of things we're going to come back on that. The Keegan, you started out in bio also, but then headed in a different direction. So you went off
Right.
to finance and business development and spent a lot of time in sort of the biotech space and biotech tools. Talk a little bit about yourself and what got you interested in this whole domain, if you would.
Sure, thank you. Okay, my story is maybe totally different. Well, not 100% different. Well, yeah, exactly 20 years ago, and when I was in high school, and I was inspired by the Human Genome Project, where China was one of the 7 countries joined that project. So yeah, I suddenly realized that biology was an amazing subject to do, and then I chose biology as my curriculum for undergraduates. And you can see that me and Dr. Shi were schoolmates, but also the roommates in the first year of our college. Well, that was too difficult for me to study biology. Well, because our background were in China, and then I studied biology in English, and lots of very long sentences and words I can't even memorize. So my grades were not very good. Well, so I took the lazy choice and tried to study other things to get myself graduated. I chose economics. Well, I like that subject as well, and then do my master degrees in London School of Economics, as you can see. Afterwards, I basically in the business world doing the business part for the consulting, for the digital digital marketing, etc. Well, but still for the last 10 or 12 years, I was a big fan of biology as well. A big fan of research journals like Science or Nature, Cell, etc. For the last 5-6 years, I worked with Alibaba Cloud Intelligence. What we do is using AI technology for healthcare and the life science industry. You can see that the AI developed quite fast in the last 5 years. The natural language processing, the machine can understand and even tell the language in very professional side, even in the life science or in the healthcare. So this is what I did. But then, like 1 year ago, in a renewed union between me and Dr. Shi, we were talking about using AI to do research in the real nature world. And this is how our collaboration began. So me and biology and Dr. Shi, we met 20 years ago, and I jumped out for like 15 years. And now we union together here for this work, and also we're planning a lot for the near future.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, one other place I wanted to go in our discussion before we get to the recent paper, which was kind of groundbreaking. Dr. Shi, again, after your PhD, your literature in the peer-reviewed area is full of, as you referred to, the Virosphere, and you have papers on camel viruses and oysters and penguins and all sorts of interesting parts of the Virosphere. But then there's another interesting part of your work, which it talks about the virome and how, in some cases, there's a paper you have in cats about how the virome, the microbiome, ultimately affects how disease spreads, co-infection. And then you had this really interesting paper, something you refer to as the infectome, specifically looking at the global pork industry, on how, it's one thing to look at a disease that infects a pig, but we need to understand everything that's going on because there's fungi and bacteria and viruses that are co-affecting the bacteria and so forth. Talk a little bit about this part of your work, because I think it's another interesting component aside from doing the metatranscriptomics across the Virosphere, the interactome, the virome really an unexplored area of human health and animal health.
Yeah. So basically, the work we do now is try to dig as much information as possible from the sequencing data. So the information is not only limited to the virus genomics, but also like once you sequence an organism, sequence the RNA, then you will find first the host sequence, right? The host information. Then you will have other microbial information, including the fungus and other eukaryotic microbiomes and bacteria, of course, archaea, and also virus. So basically, all those information they need to express, all these organisms they need to express RNA. So the infectome is the idea of like, why don't we process all the information all together so that we can maximize the usage of this information and to answer our biological questions. So in the end, what I would like to do is try to use the information to as much as to dig as much information as possible from sequencing data to answer the biological questions, not only limited to genomics, but also on a different aspect, including virulence, including the viral host, viral microbes interactions, and including like the host identifications as well. So basically, so this would provide key step in the age of information age, because like we use information and previous experimental biology, I try to say that we're entering a new era, which is information biology. So this is what we can do. So I'm more experienced with RNA sequencing. So just make full use of RNA sequencing data to answer biological questions. Yes.
And hence, you know, that amazing amount of data, why you have a great partnership with Alibaba. So that brings us to the recent preprint that came out. It was just April 18th of this year, entitled Artificial Intelligence Redefining RNA Virus Discovery. And then, you know, I'll let you guys go back and forth between Dr. Shi's role and Alibaba's role here, but just for the audience, you know, I could sort of break this down a little bit. Once again, a tremendous virosphere out there, but Dr. Shi, you point out in the paper that there is also a sort of a hidden dark matter of the virosphere, and it is all the, I guess what you refer to as sort of the divergent areas of the virome, that, you know, these viruses are there, but they continue to evolve in real time. Once again, a tremendous amount of information. Talk a little bit about your side of this, and then Keegan, you can chime in however you want and talk about how the collaboration came about and a little bit of what led up to this really fascinating paper where you discovered literally 180,000 new virus species. Take this one and walk through it as you wish.
Okay. Yeah. I will start. I think we are like for this paper, like we are interested in looking at all those biological dark matters. By saying biological dark matters, we're referring to those that has never been discovered before. So basically, RNA virus is evolving very quickly, and it has a huge diversity, and those can be understand. Those can be like resembles those has been discovered before. It's only small portion of the whole biodiversity, I guess. And so there's a tremendous effort to look into this like RNA's virosphere and trying to look for like more divergence members they have, but all those are like based on traditional bioinformatic methods. So based on the homology, like a blasting or like a HMM based method. So all these approach has been used a lot by different groups, and they do discover the huge loads of viruses on top of what has been described before. Right. Previously, my team is also using these tools to look into the virosphere, RNA virosphere, and we found that the discovery is limited. The people already have done that. They've done that in the ocean. They've done that in the soil. They've done that in different type of ecological niches, and also, of course, animals and plants as well. So it's kind of like if I discover more, I can only expand horizontally, meaning that I can only discover these samples, like which has not been the soil from this area, or like the water from that area, or like the lake, which has never been explored before. But it never goes deeper into the biosphere. By deeper, I mean like more discovery at the phylum level, means like more discovery of more divergent viruses that are associated with RNA organisms. So in that sense, that I found a very good tool, like the AI tool. When I first met Keegan, I was trying to use AI as a supplementary tool rather than the main tools for this project. I thought that AI made a lot of mistakes, and like the previous AI tools has been established with virus discovery, but the precision and the accuracy and also specificity is not very high. But so when we come together, I'll let Keegan do the details, but like I'll go over it very briefly.
Sure.
When we during the process of development of AI tools, we found that it is very, very accurate. Like it's so accurate that I myself is amazed. Like I never used AI before. For example, I'm not an AI biologist, or like I'm a bioinformatician, but I'm not an AI specialist.
Right.
But when I came to AI, and I found this amazing discovery, then that can cover all the existing diversity we discover using traditional method, as well as new diversity, which we can confirm that is from the RNA organisms. So in that sense, like we said, so we found very good tools, and this is time to explore the new world. So basically, this is how our collaboration begins. So I will stop here. Keegan.
Keegan?
Okay. Well, yeah, like Dr. Shi said, his team were focusing on using bioinformatics to dig information from the data. And my team, we for the last 5 years, we were using AI tools to dig information from data. So, and the data we usually deal with were natural language, the language we were using, the alphabet language. While this was kind of similar with the real nature language, or the biological nature language we are currently working on now. And we all know that the DNA or RNA sequence are compressed by AGCT or AUCT, and the protein language we have like 20 or 22 amino acids. So we thought we can use the similar architect or similar strategy to dig out more information from the biological nature language. So this is how we started. And so for the model, maybe there are 2 points I would like to point out. The first is we were using the most advanced transformer architect. The transformer architect in AI was developed by a Google team back to 2018 or 2019, 2018. And then it was being used in the development of AlphaFold and AlphaFold 2. So we can see that it's already being very useful, or being proven to be very useful in the protein language study. And second, for these specific studies, Dr. Shi mentioned we were looking at a vast amount of existing data. So we let the model to learn the information from, let me see, it's maybe like 144 proteins in the world. So 144 million proteins in the world. So we are taking all this protein structure, sequence, and function into the model. So basically the model already know all the information from all the proteins here. So that's the logic. It can identify the RDRP. This is the protein we're studying in this project. So it can identify RDRP from all the other proteins we don't want to see. And then, yes, the results was very good. And it's also quite efficient for the conventional bioinformatics tools. It's a long pipeline of work. But for this model, you just type in the amino acid sequences for like 1 second. You will get the result if it is RDRP or if it represents a virus or not. So yes, this was a very good start for. We use the AI technology to dig in to see more information from all the existing world, and it will definitely not be used in this specific project. We are looking for more general problems, not even for the protein studies, but for other biological studies as well.
Just
and then
add on this,
please.
Add on this point. Yeah, that I was joking with Dr. Lee that AI is gonna take our jobs because the previous we were specialized in discovering viruses, but the bioinformatic pipeline is very, very tedious, and it's only mastered by our groups rather than the whole bunch of other so basically other people cannot really jump into this and use the bioinformatic pipeline and just generate the results. But with AI, so it really does a lot of learning. Like they get like as much information as possible from sequence data, and they really did a better job than any bioinformatics pipeline that I have ever used. So I'm really convinced this is really good.
I mean, it's great. I mean, he sold you, and and it worked. So I mean, that's yes. It's a new era.
Although I don't know what exactly happens, but I know it is good.
I don't give it's magic. It gives you a lot of good data. I guess the next question, and I'll come to Dr. Shi first on this. Where do you want to go with all this? Because clearly, once again, with the magic of AI happening all around us, you have a very large amount of novel viral data. There's protein data. What excites you? Are you interested in antiviral drug discovery? Are you interested in further exploring potential of the microbiome and the healthy virome? Is something in the you've written the papers on again? I mentioned the one on the pig viruses and the animal and the sort of the food industry. What gets you excited? Where do you think some of this ultimately leads, specifically as it pertains to your program at the university?
So as for me, I'm interested in a microbial world. So basically, we're still developing these tools and hopefully build a better models to answer a lot of biological questions based on biological questions related to the microbial world, including which hosts are they associated with? Like if you discover a virus from the environment, you probably want to know is it infecting bacteria, archaea, or a eukaryotic host? Mm-hmm. So this is very, very interesting question we're looking at, and also what type of impact does it on the host, or what's the interactions between different microbial organisms? All these biological questions can be answered once we build up better models for this. So basically, it is not only a virus discovery work, but also looking into more detailed biological questions to make full use of the informations. For us, I think with AI, we will probably change our role in this, because previously we are like the leading roles in discovering these patterns, discovering these organisms, discovering the dark matters. So after this, we'll let AI do the work, then we'll confirm the result of the discovery by AI, or like we'll do that in parallel so that AI doesn't make a mistake, and we'll take a role in training the artificial intelligence and build up better models in that. All those like we'll feed the right data, we'll feed that and the right informations into the machine and let them work out the relationship. And then, of course, we'll be looking at, like after that, it figure out for example, all those diverse viral organisms will go back into the organism and try to figure out why it is discovered and what is actually the underlying mechanisms. So I guess this is what we are interested in doing. And we are doing all the similar works, but the approach will be slightly different with an availability of the new tools such as AI. So yeah.
And Keegan, sort of similar question to you, but obviously, you have, as you mentioned, hundreds of pharmaceutical customers, biotech customers out there. AI is so hot everywhere in the healthcare industry. What excites you in terms of biomedical applications of these tools? Clearly, here's a really great one for Dr. Shi's world of virology, but I mean, this technology applies to every part of the sort of what it means to be human and alive, or part of the life science system. What gets you excited in terms of the future of 5 years, 10 years? Where's all this headed for Alibaba?
Yes. So our primary interest is not only on the virus world, but we want to see how AI could understand and explain the biology world better, how it can go in 5 or 10 years. So we are trying to build a model to mimic or to revive the biological world in its own nature language. The model itself is a condensed, abstract, and workable representation of the world. While maybe we're not having the best model yet, or maybe we are not having enough data yet, but sooner or later we will have this. So there must be an AI model that can explain or even simulate the whole biological world. So we are on the upfront of it. We want to push it forward to see what we can do or what we can help other, no matter research institutions or other pharmaceutical companies can do. Because when we say this is not only about the traditional biological questions, but also what the pharmaceutical companies interested, like how protein interact with other protein, how cell work with other cell, how individual work with other individual as well. So like how virus were invading a host cell to get itself replicated. So we believe that this kind of biological activities can be explained, not explained, but can be better represented by the AI models. We already seeing how powerful the ChatGPT is. Basically, it's learned a lot, but not all the language in the world, and it can even tell stories. Right. By the way, it's also used the transformer architect. But for us, maybe we will need to spend more time, more energies to deal with the data. It's not like the language we were talking. It's a biological language. It's AGCT. It's amino acid sequence.
Right.
But we already did some annotation, and we know the meaning of some of it, if not all. So yes, when we were having more data, maybe we can build better models. And also, last but not least, we are having a better and better computing powers to deal with it. I remember I don't know if you know that the ESM fold model built by Meta, the Facebook groups.
Yep.
Also, it's a protein language AI model. I remember it used more than 2,000 GPUs for the training. So it was impossible, totally impossible in the future. But now it's possible. Well, I think like almost 100 years ago, people like Schrödinger, they already think that we can use this kind of technologies to revive the biological world. But then they said that we don't have the computing power because there's no compute at all. Now we are having a very fast computing, very powerful computing. This is also why Alibaba Cloud Intelligence, we're doing this. So combined with better and more data, maybe better models, and better computings, we definitely will have better models to deal with the biological world, to answer more biological questions I'm more optimistic that maybe in like 2 or 3 years, we will see lots and lots this kind of findings coming out. Yes, it's not only to fulfill our curiosities, but it will help lots of the real world, help the companies to make better drugs, etc. Yeah.
Excellent. So one other question I wanted to ask both of you, and it's been a fascinating discussion. You know, on one hand, I'm talking with a really great virologist that had to learn artificial intelligence, and a life science business development guy that had to learn all about the intricacies of the biologic world. And it really is a very convergent era that we're coming into. You're both quite young, but you know, we got another generation coming down the line that is going to follow in your footsteps. Based on your experiences to date, and I'd love to hear this from both of you, give some advice, if you would, to that next generation, that student that might just be coming out of college that wants to start on that career, whether it's in drug development or applied science or something. What do you say to them? I mean, you have both had such experience in the convergent world. What's your advice to that next generation that may be listening to the show that wants to follow in your footsteps? You can both take that one.
I will start. And I think the very important message is like keep an open mind. So this is very important. Like we are actually from the 80s. And we are actually new to the academic. I will only say for myself, I was actually new to academic world, and I was already out of date. So this is a very fast changing world. This is really like the technologies and the view and the view is changing a lot. And like in the past 10 years, it's a really good example. You can find a very good example in the virology. Previously, you identified viruses one by one, and now you just identify by thousands. And previously, people don't accept the genomic data as a virus, but now they become like more. So basically, the genomic sequence becomes driving force of discovering new viruses and trying to identify pathogen and even those cause infectious disease. So this is a very fast changing world, and we need to be adapt to this world. We need to like always keep an eye on those new technologies, new method that can be used to tackle our biological questions. So this is basically what I'm trying to say. I myself is kind of like shocking in terms of what the new technology can do, and look at this discovery. It is really amazing. Yeah.
Keegan?
Well, yeah. Well, basically, I don't think I have any authorities to tell them anything. I think. Well, I met a bunch of very young talent in Dr. Shi's laboratories. So they're both they're all very young and talented, and they're definitely better than me back to that time. So well, but I do think one thing is quite important is like keep your curiosity. So I think this is the biggest drivers for us to do what we love, and can push us can just drive us to really spend time and energy to learn it, to do it. I think otherwise I'm afraid not just them but us, lots of us will become nowhere to go, because the machine is too powerful, and lots of us also don't need to worry about the money. So basically, stay at home doing nothing is something I'm really worried about. But if you still have the curiosity to explore the world, no matter in which way, not definitely in the research world, but just like to talk to people, to interact, to explore the new things, then that's the real meaning of life exploring. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an excellent message, especially in this time where we are less and less, unfortunately, connected by electronics. Yeah. But no, really, it's a really great story, a great collaboration. And again, when I first read about both of you, I said, I have to bring you both on the show to show about this really interesting convergence that's going on. And I think this relationship is sort of the epitome of that. So I'm excited for both of you in terms of this project, and obviously that whatever continues to come out of your collaboration, and then individually, obviously both your research. So really exciting. Again, for everybody that is going to be listening to this particular episode of our show across the various podcast networks or watching on the YouTube channel, again, you've been listening to Dr. Mang Shi, Professor, Sun Yat-sen University, as well as Keegan Lee from the Alibaba Group, Director, Alibaba Cloud Digital Medical Product Solutions Team, Alibaba Health Information Technology Group. Dr. Shi, Keegan, I want to thank you both again for taking your time out of your schedule this morning to come talk to us for a little while. Obviously, thank you for everything you're doing. And as we like saying on our show here, thanks for doing work that helps create a better tomorrow for everybody. Really great stories.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.